this incredibly meaty sandwich right here. This pulled meat. That's like a beef. I mean, look at this. This all starts from 1 can of black beans. Let me show you how. So first things first, we need our can of black beans. Now we're gonna be using canned because dried doesn't have this stuff right here. That liquid, that's not aquafaba. Aquafaba is the liquid from a can of chickpeas, but all legumes have that similar type of liquid. It's protein rich with some starches in it, and when you use it with plant-based meat, it kind of helps emulsify everything together, keeping your plant-based meat more juicy. Now we're just gonna use that whole can along with the liquid, and then we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of water. I just rinsed out the inside of the can with it. Now at this point, we're gonna switch to this weird close-up shot. And that's because for some reason, this footage ended up missing. What the heck is a DAT file, Canon? That's okay, we'll focus on this shot. We'll get through it as fast as we can, and I'll put the list up at the end. So we're just gonna do a little bit of garlic powder, a few cracks of black pepper, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon red vinegar, teaspoon yeast extract, teaspoon beetroot powder, teaspoon mushroom seasoning, tablespoon of olive oil, and then we're gonna blend. Glad that's over. Here's the list. So now that we're back to the normal pace, we've blended this up into a fairly smooth, almost like a black bean soup with a very kind of like meaty taste to it. What the heck is on my shirt? But I realized it was missing something, so I added a touch of soy sauce. So now we need to add our binder, and for this, it's gluten. I'm so sorry to all of my gluten-free friends, but we're gonna be doing about a cup of gluten, and then we just need to blend it up until the blender forms it into a dough ball. Now, if you don't have a high-power blender, that might be your blender's last day, but if not, I'm sure it will be fine. So we have a very kind of like warm, very stringy seitan gluten dough ball. And before you say anything, gluten is just pure protein. So please do not ask the question of where the heck do you get protein from this meat. Now, to create this kind of like beef, like pull apart texture, I'm gonna layer this in a technique that I've been doing for a little bit now, to where I'm actually just pulling apart the dough and then layering it with fresh gluten flour. And then we're just gonna allow it to rest, and all of those fresh gluten flours are gonna form denser, auto-leased gluten. Now, originally I was actually going for sliceable roast beef, not pull apart roast beef. So it ended up coming out a heck of a lot more tender than I expected. But this idea is going to lead me down a lot of different paths. So all I'm going to do is just place a weight on it, throw it in the fridge, and let it rest for just the rest of the day. This is going to be a few day process. Speaking of process, you ever feel like your experience is holding you back from the career that you want? I know that's what it felt like to me when I was trying to get my foot in the door in the IT world. And that's why I'm excited to partner with Southern New Hampshire University. Today's sponsor, SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country. And today I want to talk to you about their social media marketing program. In this program, you're going to learn how to leverage social media to engage customers, build loyalty, and drive business. Also learn other vital digital marketing skills such as SEO and how to run advertising campaigns. This is a great program if you want to be a content creator, community manager, or social media strategist. And SNHU is radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. So gang, head over to snhu.edu/Saucestache, which is also linked in the description below, to see what the annual average salary of social media marketing is and to request some more information about the program. Request the information, hop on a call with a real person, and discuss how this can benefit you. It only takes one click to find your calling. And we're back. And I mean, it's almost the end of the day, and this has got the rest quite a bit. So it's pressed down a lot. All I'm going to do is just pull the weight out, and we're just going to kind of press the top in. And then all I'm doing is just carefully removing it from here. At this point, I need to wrap it up, and I want to wrap it up tight. So I'm going to wrap it up in some tin foil and a little bit of twine. Now, this part might get a little ridiculous with the twine, but I was really trying to keep this all held in because the way that this was just kind of put together, there was a ton of air bubbles in that, and I didn't want it to expand. I didn't want this gluten to grow. I wanted it to stay very dense because that's how I was going to get my sliceable beef. So I guess if you ever need any help in the dungeon, okay. So now I'm just going to bring in the Le Creuset, or whatever you have to steam. And I'm going to be steaming this just in the Dutch oven with just like a roasting tray and just some water. I'm going to keep this over a low heat, as low as you can get. We're just trying to create a steam bath in here and let it go for about 3 hours. I know that's a long time, but it is on low. Now, after about an hour and a half or so, just check your lid and crap. See, now everyone always asks me to post failures, so here you go. This is what happens. So I just pulled it out, tried to stuff everything back into the aluminum foil, and then rewrapped it, and then got the steam going again, threw it back in, put the lid on, and let it go for about another hour and a half. I knew this wasn't going to come back together, but maybe I could at least save the rest of it. So once this is all done, we're going to make an overnight marinade for this, which is just going to be about 3 tablespoons of melted vegan butter, a good pinch of some kosher salt, and red wine vinegar. I'm just going to be using about 3 tablespoons. Then we just want to mix this up, and we're just going to pour it over top of our meat. Now, for me, I'm throwing it in this like soup container so I can keep it upright, and that way it just kind of maybe gets more dense overnight. But then I'm also going to be adding a few sprigs of rosemary, and I'm just making sure this is completely filled up. If it doesn't fill all the way to the top, I'm just going to add some water just to make sure it's completely covered. Now, once you have it sealed, give it a few shakes. Let's see if we can emulsify some of that like vegan butter and like all those juices together. Now, at this point, all we're going to do is just close it up, toss it in the fridge, and let it rest overnight. And I know that transition was really good, but I swear it's the next day. I just have a similar colored t-shirt. Now, we just need to take this out of the marinade very carefully, and I'm fully expecting some very weird comments from the look of this, because yeah, it does look odd, but it does kind of look like meat to me. Now, at this point, we're bringing back the Dutch oven. I have the marinade butter juice nice and hot, getting ready to, it's going to kind of like help fry this and give it like a nice coating, a nice flavorful skin. All we're going to really do is just kind of make sure we sear this on all sides, make sure that it has like a good sear all the way around. Now, once you're happy with that sear, we're just going to toss in a little bit of olive oil, cover it with some onions, fresh chopped onions, and some garlic. Then all we're going to do is just cover it up, toss it in our preheated oven that was preheated for 350 degrees. Now, once it was done, I pulled it out. I expected it to be fairly dense, but also very soft. But you know what? I gave it a slice because that's what I originally intended to do, and I just realized it wasn't going to work that way. That's when I saw how pooly it was. It really did pool like meat. It was amazing the way these little shreds came off. I loved it. So I was going to be done cooking it, but I figured if I'm going to shred this up, I might as well toss it in a pan, kind of brown it up with a little bit of onions, and then we're just going to make like just a makeshift barbecue sauce since I didn't have any, so it was just a little bit of ketchup and maybe like a sweet, spicy sauce, which I'm happen to be working on one myself right now, so I tossed that in. And there we go. We have our barbecued meat sandwich, which, you know, again, this wasn't intention. I didn't mean to do this. So we just toasted up some buns, tossed on some thick pickles, and here we go. I'm really curious. Let's see what Monica has to say because this was entirely an accident. That's pretty good.
This is really good. Okay, definitely has like a barbecue. It's really like juicy, tender, and meaty feeling, like a meaty bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it.
All the pieces have like the pool of meat, you know, like that tear. And it's a little bit soft.
It's tender.
Yeah.
It still tears very nicely, stays together, and it's a nice bite.
Yeah, but like the mouthful.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that.
I know.
I mean, the texture of meat, it's there. I'm pretty happy with this. Black beans.
Black bean
What else?
meat.
But what are some more things that you can make with 1 can of black beans?
Let us know.
Going pretty good. Dinner, baby.
Dinner.
You happy with it?
Yeah, I love it.
Great.